This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. It is 6/27 and October is National Anti-Bullying Prevention Month. Bullying can be verbal, physical, or via the internet and can severely affect the victim's self-esteem, social interactions, and school performance, and often lead to insecurity, lack of self-esteem, and depression in adulthood. This morning we have Angela Caraway, the clinical director from the Mark Twain Behavioral Health Center here in Kirksville, to talk more about the impacts of bullying. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks.
Good. All right, so what are the first signs that parents should look for if they do suspect that their child is being bullied at school?
The signs are actually really similar to what you would look for if you thought your child might be depressed, actually. So they have a lot to do with just depressed moods, sadness, fears about going to school, excuses made why they don't want to go to school or ride the bus or walk to school. Real similar to signs of depression.
Okay, and we do know that it's a sensitive subject, and some kids might be embarrassed to come forward and say, hey, there is somebody picking on me. So what are some ways that parents could approach their child if they do suspect that their child is a victim?
I think one of the most important ways is to really just talk to your kids. Find out what's going on in their life, find out who their friends are, if they're having any problems with any other kids. It's real important just to have that communication open back and forth. And, to encourage them to have friends that, don't do that to other people and who they too are willing to stand up against a bully.
All right. And we've seen some, extreme cases that, a parent has found, that their child is being bullied and they take it into their own hands, as in they go and confront, the bully or whatever. Is that something you would recommend, or how should a parent handle that situation?
I really don't recommend that. I think one of the best ways is to communicate with your school system. I have found, just in cases that we've worked with at the office, and even, at times with my own kids, some of the best ways to handle that is to go in and talk with the school officials. The Kirksville School District, and I'm sure, up in Iowa as well, have resource officers. And there are laws in both states against bullying that are Class A misdemeanors. And if the perpetrator is older, it could be a Class D. So, I think the best way and the most impactful way is to talk with school officials and law enforcement.
Okay. And do you have any other, I know that we touched briefly on this a couple of minutes ago about the impacts of bullying. What else, it could lead to depression and signs. What else can that lead to?
It's really a deadly, it's a deadly proposition. We, as Mark Twain Behavioral Health, brought Tina Myers to town last May, and Tina's daughter, Megan, had completed suicide because she was a victim of a bully. Over the internet. And so just to listen to her story and other similar stories, there's a documentary out now about bullying by Lee Hirsch that talks about different vignettes of students, some with disabilities and some not, and their experiences with bullies. So, it's a deadly proposition. Kids can attempt and complete suicide. And that's why it's so important to recognize what's going on in your kid's life and to talk with them about their electronic media. And it's really important for parents to monitor electronic media.
Okay. And so my final question is, what are some ways or what are some things that, parents and kids can do to, help rebuild their self-esteem after them being a victim? Are there counseling classes available? Is there something that parents can do to kind of,
a lot of times kids are targeted because they are vulnerable, and so counseling is always a good thing to explore, especially if the bullying was very harsh. And, we always want to make sure our kids' self-esteem is intact, and so we want to do that on a daily basis. But, in response to being victimized, it's important that we listen to them, that we validate their feelings, and we get them help if they need it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
And we'll post all this information on our website along with Mark Twain's behavioral health information too, if they have any questions or need to contact you with that on our website at heartlandconnection.com.